Good morning friends. Welcome back to Panika Tutorials. In this video, I want to discuss about priority based scheduling algorithm. Priority based scheduling algorithm has its two variants such as preemptive and non-preemptive. Then I will discuss about non-preemptive priority based scheduling algorithm with an example. So I request everyone to watch the complete video for better understanding. First, let me introduce about the priority based scheduling algorithm. In priority based scheduling algorithm, each process has its own priority. If you look at the statement, each process has its own priority. The priority can be static or dynamic. What is meant by static? For the entire duration, whatever the priority has been assigned, it will be fixed. Whereas if it is a dynamic, its value can vary or its priority of a process can vary. It has two variants. One is preemptive, another one is non-preemptive. You already know about what is a preemptive scheduling algorithm, what is a non-preemptive scheduling algorithm. In this video, I will solve this question with respect to the non-preemptive priority-based scheduling algorithm. Now, any scheduling algorithm will have the two parameters. One is the criteria and another one is mode. Here we have the mode is non-preemptive scheduling algorithm. What is the criteria is the priority. Okay, that's why the name itself came as priority based scheduling algorithm. If there is a tie in the priority, then first come first serve scheduling algorithm will come. Then you can ask me one important question. Sir, for process P1 you have assigned priority 3, process P2 4, process P3 also 4, process P4 5, P5 1, P6 6. But among this one, which has the highest priority? Based on the question you have to consider. If they have given that the priority with less value will be given high priority. Let's assume that if I say that the priority value less will be given high priority and the priority value which is high will be given the less priority, then the P5 will get the high priority as compared to the remaining process. P6 will get the lowest priority. So based on the question you have to consider. Suppose if they say this is the highest priority, then you will get the P5 highest priority and this will be the lowest priority. If they say that the priority value which has high value, that will be highest priority, then this will get the highest priority and this will get the lowest priority. Is it clear? So based on the question you have to look at. Let me solve this question with respect to the priority which has less value will be given high priority. So the P5 will get the highest priority as compared to the P6 which is low priority. So with this introduction, let me solve this question. Okay. So to solve this question, we need to draw the Gantt chart. If we can draw the Gantt chart, half of our question will be solved. Always the Gantt chart will start from 0 units of time. Look at the process P1, P2, P3, P4, P5, P6. Which one has arrived at 0 units of time? None of the process has arrived at 0 units of time. So the process P1 has arrived at 1 unit of time. So from 0 to 1 unit, the process is or the CPU is idle because none of the process has arrived. If none of the process is there in the ready state, which process we will dispatch? We cannot dispatch anything. So CPU is idle during that time. At 1 unit of time, process P1 only arrived in the ready state. If only one process is there in the ready state, we will dispatch. Obviously, we will not look at any criteria. We will dispatch it to the running state. Okay. Process P1 will be dispatched. As it is a non-preemptive scheduling algorithm, if we assume that none of the process needs IO request, then once the process has entered to the running state, it will complete its entire task and will go to the terminated state. So process P1 needs 2 units of time. It will run for 2 units of time up to 3 units of time and it will complete its task and go to the terminated state. Now look at the ready state now. Okay, let me write it here for your better understanding. In the ready state right now at 3 units of time, any other process has arrived? Okay, P2 alone arrived because the remaining process P3, P4, P5, P6 has arrived at 4 units, 5 units, 6 units, 10 units to the ready state. So only P2 has currently there in the ready state, that will be dispatched to the running state and it will be run for 4 units of time. P2 will run up to 7 units of time. So P1, P2 has completed. Now during that 7 units of time, look at what are the process has been arrived. Okay, the process P3, P4, P5 have been arrived. P6 has not arrived yet. So P3, P4, P5 has arrived. Now, which one will be dispatched based on the priority? We said the priority which has less value will be given higher priority. So, look at the priority values. P3 has the priority value 4, P4 priority value is 5, P5 priority value is 1. So, which one has the highest priority as per this one? You will say that sir P4 has the highest priority, but what we said, the process which has the high priority value is the least priority one. Okay, so with this one P5 has the highest priority, so P5 will be dispatched to the running state. As it is a non-preemptive scheduling algorithm, it will run for 8 units of time. At 15 units of time it will complete its task. So P5 is also completed. By that time P6 also arrived to the ready state. So what are the process which are there in the ready state? P3, P4 and P6. Look at the priorities. The priorities of P3 is 4, P4 is 5 and P6 is 6. Which one has the highest priority? P3. So P3 will be dispatched, okay, and it needs only 1 unit of time. So it will complete at 16 unit of time and it will go to the terminated state. So even P3 is completed. Okay, now only P4 and P6 is there. So which one has the highest priority? P4. So which will be dispatched to the running state and it will execute for 6 units of time. At 22 units of time it will complete its task. Then only P6 is there. We will no need to look at the priority and we will dispatch it to the running state and it will be run for only 1 unit of time. At 23 units of time all the process have been completed. Now let's compute the completion time, turnaround time, waiting time, response time, all these things. So first let me compute the completion time. When each process has been completed, look at the Gantt chart. Process P1 has completed at 3 units of time. Process P2 has completed 7 units of time. Process P5 has completed 15 units of time. Process P3 has completed 16 units of time. Process P4 22, P6 23. Once we computed the completion time, we can easily compute the turnaround time. Turnaround time is equal to completion time minus arrival time. So 3 minus 1 is 2, 7 minus 3 is 4, 16 minus 4 is 12, 22 minus 5 is 17, 15 minus 6 is 9, 23 minus 10 is 13. Okay, now let me compute the waiting time. The waiting time can be computed as turnaround time minus burst time. So 2 minus 2, 0, 4 minus 4, 0, 12 minus 1, 11, 17 minus 6, 11, 9 minus 8, 1, 13 minus 1, 12. As it is a non-preemptive scheduling algorithm, the waiting time is equal to the response time. If you have any doubt, you can compute it. Anyway, for your understanding, let me compute the response time also. But as it is a non-preemptive scheduling algorithm, I can say that the waiting time will be equal to the response time. Now, what is meant by response time? When the process has entered into the running state minus its arrival time, P1, 1 minus 1, because it has entered to the running state at 1 unit of time and it has arrived at 1 unit of time. So 1 minus 1 is 0. P2 is 3. I run at 3 units of time. 3 minus 3 is 0. Process P3, 15 minus 4, 11. P4, 16 minus 5, 11. P5, where is P5? This one, 7 minus 6, 1. P6, 22 minus 10, 12. Look at the response time and waiting time. 0 and 0, this is same. 0 and 0, same. 11, 11, same. 11, 11, same. 1 same, 12 same. So already I told you that in a non-preemptive scheduling algorithm, the waiting time and response time will be same. If it is a preemptive scheduling algorithm, the waiting time and response time will be different. So with this knowledge, you can easily compute the average turnaround time, average waiting time. I no need to discuss it. If you want, let me discuss for you. We got the turnaround time for each process. Then how can we compute the average turnaround time? Compute the sum of all the process turnaround time and divide by the number of process. Turnaround time is 2 plus 4 plus 12 plus 17 plus 9 plus 13 by number of processes 6. Similarly, how can I compute the average waiting time? Average waiting time is the sum of all the process waiting time divided by the number of process, which is 0 plus 0 plus 11 plus 11 plus 1 plus 2, not 2, 12 by 6. Is it clear? So this is the way we can compute the average turnaround time and the average waiting time. I hope you have understood the non-preemptive priority scheduling algorithm. If you still have any doubts related to this concept, feel free to ask me in the comment section. I will try to clear your doubts as early as possible. In the next video, I will discuss about the preemptive priority based scheduling algorithm. Thank you for watching the complete video. Have a nice day.